Well, I'm glad to be with you. I have 5 kids at last count, and a while back, our family kind of has a family holiday, so that way at Christmas and Thanksgiving, wherever they need to be, they can be there. My kids are real old now. They're all 30 and 27 and all that kind of thing. So we all met together on the Oregon coast for a weekend together. And on a Saturday afternoon, it's still kind of cold on the Oregon coast, we're walking down the beach. And my 27-year-old son, the first son in the family, now I got to tell you something about kids. He runs up to me and he goes, "Dad, let's make a sandcastle." Now, you know what? When you get old, you stop doing stuff. I don't know what it is, but I mean, like you stop skipping. Nobody tells you to stop. You just don't skip anymore. I hadn't built a sandcastle in 20 years. And my kid comes up to me and he goes, "Let's build one." Now, let me tell you something about kids in your family. How many of you are the first kid in your family? Let me see your hand. Okay, I want to apologize right now for your parents. When you're the first kid, you get it in the shorts every time. Because you're the first one, they don't know how to raise a kid. They've never had a kid before. So they got the books, they got the videos, they got all the experts and the consultants over, and they're looking at you and you're 9 months old and you're not walking and they're going, "Walk!" But after you have 3 or 4 kids, it's a whole different deal. I mean, your kid walks in and you go, "You're walking." He goes, "Dad, I'm 8. So my first kid, who was the kind of straight A's in high school, straight A's in college, student body president, the whole deal, he's now a youth worker in the church. He's the typical first kid. Now my second kid wanted to make sure that there would never be any mistake between him and his older brother. He's got super long curly hair. He looks like Bono, on U2. He's got earrings in places I didn't know you could put them, and it's amazing. He's totally different. So he comes up and he goes, "Look, if we're going to build a sandcastle, then we got to have a challenge." So he rips off his t-shirt, he runs down to the edge of the beach, he grabs a stick, sticks it right there at the edge of the water, ties his shirt to it and says, "All right, here's the deal. We're putting a flag right here." He said, "We're going to build a sandcastle around this flag." And he said, "If the water comes in and knocks over the flag, the sand is poison, we're all dead." So we all said, "Okay." So 9 of us went to work, and we built like a 3 walls around this flag. I mean, we had an outer wall, then we had a secondary wall with a log underneath it, then we had a third wall where the thing was up. And while we're doing all this, we're working away. I look up and I see this little boy walking down the beach with his dad. He must have been about 5 years old. I have no idea what overtook me, but when I saw that little boy, I thought to myself, how can you build a sandcastle without a little kid? So I don't even know who the kid was. I just ran up to him and I went, "Little boy, we are building a sandcastle. See that flag down there? If that flag falls down, sand's poison, you're dead." You should have seen the look on that little kid's face. Absolute total fear. He's holding on to his dad, looking up at him like, "Dad, you told me about people like this." And I look at the little boy and I go, and he looks at his dad, and he looks at me, and neither one of them say anything. They just both kind of walk off like I'm weird. Which I guess I am. So I walk back, and we keep on working, and I happen to look up, and I see that about 25 yards down the beach, they both stop. The man lets go of the little boy, and the little boy does what every little boy does when they go to the beach. He runs down to the edge of the water, and he plays tag with the water. When the water goes out, he runs out after it. When the water comes back, he runs back like that. And he's running back and forth. Of course, he doesn't realize that when one wave's coming out, another one's coming in. Wham! He gets nailed. He gets totally wet, muddy. He just gets absolutely creamed. And right then, his dad went, "Andy, you get over here right now." And when he did that, he made a terrible mistake because he told me the kid's name. Without even thinking, I ran over to the little boy. He was in the mud. I got down and I went, "Andy, you're already a disaster. It doesn't make anything difference now. Please come and help us build this sandcastle." He looks at his dad. He looks at me. He looks at his dad. He goes, "Okay." He runs over. We're building away. And all of a sudden, one of my kids goes, "There's a wave coming." And without even thinking about it, nobody said a word. We all ran right to the middle wall where the flag was. We completely surrounded the flag, all 9 of us. We had little Andy squashed in the middle of us. We're hanging on the flag. The water smashes over the first wall, over the second wall, over our shoes, runs back, and the flag remains. And again, without even thinking about it, we all went, "Woohoo!" Andy kind of looked around and went, "Woohoo!" Just then I heard his dad say, "Andy, you get over here right now." Now, I'm sure he was a good dad. Who knows what was going on? Maybe they had to be somewhere, and maybe he had to change his clothes and get him ready to have dinner somewhere. I don't know what it was. But as parents, sometimes there are moments in our kids' lives that we don't even remember, that we don't even have a clue were very, very pivotal in that kid's life. And I remember looking at that little boy, Andy, as he looked up at me, eyes filling up with tears. He goes, "Sorry, mister, I have to go." And off he walked. And I thought to myself, if you can't build a sandcastle at 5, when can you? If you can't get muddy and dirty and wet and soggy at 5, then when can you? And I began to see the light in that